very much. I'd also like to acknowledge we're meeting on the land of the Gadigal people and acknowledge Aboriginal elders, past and present, and many Aboriginal people with us here tonight. Tonight I want to talk about health issues related to road traffic-based air pollution and the potential harmful health impacts of WestConnex on the well-being of people. Sorry. Sydney suffers from transport congestion, we all know that, and we know it needs some major creative investment to provide solutions. But WestConnex fails to provide the solutions Matt Howard tells us so eloquently detailed and has joined some of the dots for us about what lies behind it. Some of the health facts. WestConnex will induce more road traffic and increase road traffic pollution. Road traffic contributes significantly to air pollution in our cities, around 30% overall, but it's the source of most of the ultra-fine particulate pollution. There are two main types of pollution from vehicles, particularly diesels, engines and trucks. They are the gases and the particulates. There are some related particles, and they're both problematic. Air pollution is harmful to our health. The evidence is now very clear. Exposure to vehicle exhaust increases the number of people who have strokes, heart attacks and lung disease, and it increases the number of people who die from these illnesses. Diesel exhaust in particular is a known carcinogen, and that's because of both the ultrafine particulates which get down into our lungs and into our bloodstream, and the gases and the volatile organic compounds that are burning in fuel. And these factors combine most seem to impact on the young, the elderly, pregnant women and those with immune deficiencies. There's no safe level of exposure to pollution from either gases or particulates. Less is better, it's still not good. There are no state standards of exposure. Australian governments overall have been rather slow to tighten standards because of lobbying from mining, transport and other interests. Long-term exposure and repeated short-term exposure to vehicle exhaust is bad for our health. Also, increased time spent sitting in motor vehicle traffic is not good for your general health, even if you're not breathing fumes. It reduces the opportunities for exercises, increases the risk of obesity and consequent illnesses like diabetes and high blood pressure. What's more, as Matt described, we're going to lose some of our valuable park fields, and that will reduce our opportunity for exercise too. The big problem is that measuring the precise impacts of all these things I've just outlined is quite difficult. Local effects of all these impacts are difficult to demonstrate over short periods of time, like 5 years. So the proponents always say, well, there's not been any demonstrated ill effects from studies to date in Australia or anywhere else, although that's not quite true. Remember the concerns about cancer caused by cigarette smoking and asbestos? This was denied and disputed by the tobacco companies, James Hardy, etc., because of the precise causal links were hard to demonstrate. So let us not be duped by such arguments in respect of traffic-based air pollution. The other problem is that air quality measurement is rather difficult to do accurately and interpret. The NHMRC, our premier medical research body, said it's been very difficult to access good information on Australian air quality in general, but particularly the impacts of road tunnel air quality and its impacts on health. Now, WestConnex will try to confuse you with a few things. They'll tell us that air quality in Australia is generally good. This is currently true. But as our big cities become even larger with increased induced traffic with projects like WestConnex, how can it remain true in a city of 8 million people? They also promote that by taking the traffic underground, they are magically improving air quality for traffic has been removed. They claim that WestConnex will create free-flowing traffic conditions that will reduce overall emissions. But where did the traffic and emissions disappear to? It's not Harry Potter country. We know that traffic and exhaust fumes have to go somewhere. Exhaust fumes will exit from both the exhaust stacks and exit portals where cars leave the tunnel system. Where cars exit the tunnel system, there must be increased congestion and more pollution than currently exists because they'll join the traffic that's currently there. And how can you believe WestConnex claim that there will be zero emissions from exit portals? And that's the real worry. The stacks are one thing, but where vehicles go in and out is the real problem in terms of the air pollution. And we must ask them where and how they're going to measure this properly. It's not really well addressed in the EMA statements. The other problem is that the study of air movements is complicated. It's influenced by other things, topography, hills, valleys, large tall buildings and wind movements. So with these exhaust stacks, where would the air plumes from those drop off? The M5 stack stuck in a gully with poor engineering was a disaster. We also know that the overall, much of Sydney's air pollution aggregates and is dumped and concentrates into the southwest over Liverpool and Camden. So they will pop most of the increase from the exhaust stacks. The Office of the New South Wales Chief Scientist on the M5 ES has said that the RMS needs to provide much more information on worst case pollution scenarios. If, as predicted, people divert to surrounding roads, and that's what the EIS predicts. And the government's developer arm, formerly Landcom, Urban Growth, wants to increase the residential densities throughout in the city, and that's going to reduce more traffic, and it's not going to take it away. The EIS proposals all predict increased traffic along alternate routes as people try and avoid tolls, and increased traffic in north-south routes as they try and cross over these road projects. So much of the inner west is predicted to become more congested in spite of all this work. The EIS is very clear for the EIS reporters that traffic east of Wattle Street all the way down to Broadway is just going to get more and more congested, and Victoria Road will be the same. And the EIS predicts that the WestConnex will be at capacity by 2031. That's 8 years after it's completed. And we already saw the picture of the Auckland Bridge, so it'll be probably earlier. So what then? An even newer M4 and M5 to solve the new mess about to be created? If this project proceeds, there's also going to be impacts of its construction. People will have to put up with increased dust, especially the silica from all the Balmain sandstone, which is quite harmful and irritant to our lungs. With the multiple truck movements, we're going to get increased diesel truck pollution. That's hundreds of thousands of trucks moving tonnes and tonnes, millions of tonnes of sandstone through our suburbs. There will be increased noise from 24-hour truck operation. And that's going to impact on the sleep of people, local residents, and that has adverse effects on our general health, particularly blood pressure, cholesterol, and things. And then there's the loss of trees and vegetation. We've already seen that Anzac Parade, but other parks are due to be impacted, and that's going to impact on local endangered flora and fauna. The vegetation removal takes away plants which help reduce the particulate matter in the atmosphere, rather than, so that's another factor. So there are disrupted communities already in Haverfield and North Strathfield and Homebush. There are people, families, communities mourning the loss of their destroyed homes and lives. And this project causes our neighbourhoods to lose integrity in the connections that people have. And this all impacts on our general physical and economic health while we're subjected to 8 or more years of construction. And then there's the long-term consequence if we're unfortunate enough to live next to a pollution hotspot that I've just outlined. So, just remember these 4 things. WestConnex will produce more road traffic. Road traffic contributes significantly to air pollution in cities. Air pollution is harmful to our health, and there is no safe level of exposure. We must ensure that children who live, school, play and sleep in areas where there is pollution are not subjected to further increases because of blatant pollution hotspots. We must stop this fossilised idea in its tracks and get real transparency